Welcome. Are white South Africans Africans? This is a question that recently came up to me as I met a man named Curtis. Curtis is a white South African, and we got to talking because I was pumping gas and he saw my license plate, and my license plate says Ghanaian on it, as I am a Ghanaian. And, he was telling me about South Africa and his upbringing, and the way he was talking, you would think that I was filling up a full-size truck because my gas had finished pumping and he kept on talking. But that's neither here nor there. He really kept on using words like us and we and, a lot of inclusive language as if to say that we're the same. And I have to say that I was getting a little bit frustrated because I thought it was a little bit audacious to believe that his experience as an African and my experience as an African are the same. And that might be a little on me because when I think of an African, I very rarely think of white South Africans being Africans. I usually think of dark-skinned people like myself. But that's not true. There are Africans who are of Indian descent. There are Africans who are of white descent. I've seen Africans of Asian descent, which is, a little bit crazy to me to think of. But I recently found out I have some Africans of Asian descent in my own family. But I digress. What I really want to talk about is the idea of how we self-identify, and more so, is self-identification real, or are we at the mercy of those who are relational to giving us an identity? Especially in the kind of environment we're in now, we notice that a lot of people, say what they are, whether it's with gender or actually usually mostly with gender. Very few instances do you have people who racially identify themselves as something else. Hashtag Rachel Dolezal. But it happens even though it's infrequent. My question for you is, are we what we choose to say that we are? I choose to say that I'm an African. I believe I'm an African. I was born to African parents. I was raised in an African household. I speak African language. But I've been told recently by some family members that when I go to Ghana, I'll be seen as an American, which was a bit earth-shattering to me because my whole life I thought I was a Ghanaian, right? Another example of this is my best friend is half black and half white. But when you ask him, he always tends to kind of lean more to the black side. And he doesn't feel sad about this, but he just kind of feels matter of fact about it. And I wonder why, because in my mind, he's just as white as he is black. So much so that I call him a white boy. I call him a white boy all the time. And you should see the looks that people give me when I call him white boy in public, because to them, what I've said is blasphemous. Another example, and this is an example that I'm very curious to see what people think about, is President Obama. President Obama is called our first black president. I had a little bit of trouble with this when it first happened because I don't physically see myself in President Obama. It took me a little bit of warming up to understand what they meant by black president, right? But at first I didn't feel it because he doesn't look like me. He doesn't feel like me. Even within the hierarchy of dark skin, he's lighter and he gets treated better, right? Because even within our own race, we have colorism, and our colorism tends to treat light-skinned people as better. So I had a hard time accepting President Obama as our first black president because to me, he was our first biracial president, which by no means is a knock on him. That is a big step even from what we've had previously, which is white, right? And so I was still proud that we had a biracial president, but for us to say black to me felt like a step too far. With that being said, we embraced it. African Americans really embraced it. And I think African Americans embraced it because it was finally a win for us, no matter how you look at it, right? But still, I want to know why people who are biracial are also, at the mercy of this identity plunged on them. Why do we plunge identities on people rather than let people self-identify? I can say that I'm a blonde-haired, blue-eyed little white girl till my lungs are exhausted of oxygen. No one would ever believe me because what I'm saying is absolutely preposterous. But that is how I choose to identify, right? I'm trying to understand identity. I don't get it. I think it's a very complicated issue, and it's something that I'd love to have people, come in the show and talk on and just for me to really understand what identity is. But as far as what the question is for this PSA is, are we what we say we are, or are we at the mercy of those within our communities and those we have relationships with? Thank you, guys.